This is called Slow Down. In a clearing in a forest out behind the village dump sat a little old man on an even older stump. He whistled while he whittled, and he whittled quite a while. And every time he heard a robin, he would cock his head and smile. See, he'd sold his house in town and moved out in the woods because the town was growing fast and the growing wasn't good. Ever since they started fracking and the money came around, it had turned into a strip mall instead of a small town. Now, on a path in that same forest walked a man with furrowed brow. He wanted to be happy, but he wasn't certain how. He made a lot of money, but things were pretty grim. His neighbor, who was younger, had a bigger truck than him. And the neighbor on the other side, as quiet as a mouse, must have got a friggin' raise because he built a bigger house. The town, it kept expanding and the taxes getting higher, and the man felt he was slipping from the pan into the fire. "My goodness, I've a visitor," the old man smiled and said. "What brings you to the forest with that frown upon your head?" The man said, "It's complicated. I'm not sure where to begin, but I don't know where I'm going, and my soul is wearing thin." "Slow down," said the old man. "Take a breath and look at me. You don't have to pave the world. You don't have to bridge the sea. Well, there's a flower, there's a tree, there's a woodchuck, there's a bee. These are things you need to truly be happy. I'm glad you're making money, son, but take a look around. You're gonna miss this town if you don't slow down." He said, "The building and expanding, well, they've gotten out of hand. They say we need more jobs, so they go and frack the land. And the constant noise and traffic, the compressors and the trucks, they swept this town under the carpet just to make a couple bucks. Everybody's in this contest for expensive, fancy things, multi-million-dollar homes, brand new cars, diamond rings. I don't need no status quo to tell me who I am. Leonard Skinner said it best, son. Be a simple kind of man." The man stood there for a minute. Then he gave a mighty sigh. Then he dropped down to his knees and, like a child, began to cry. And it all made perfect sense. He needed meaning in his life. And he couldn't wait to run and tell his children and his wife about this little old man up in the woods outside of town who had saved his life by giving him permission to slow down. And that was years ago, though it seems like yesterday. The town became a strip mall and the frackers moved away. And the million-dollar mansions that were reaching to the sky stood silent and abandoned because the taxes were so high. But way up in the forest, back behind the village dump, sprang a tiny little town around an ancient locust stump. It wasn't very fancy, but it had the cleanest air. It was quaint and quiet and honest, and there were lovely people there. See, that man convinced his family to make a mighty switch, to spend more time together and less time getting rich. And other people followed who saw just what they had, that sometimes less is more, and sometimes more is sad. And that man, he took to whittling as he got up there in years, and he whistled while he whittled, and he drank a couple beers, and a smile lit up his face when a young man came to him and said, "I don't know where I'm going, and my soul is wearing thin." That's it.